He knocked me over. I landed on the dog bowl.
This one's wife failed flogging Tat in First Bricks and Mortar. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. As per People, who else? This one's wife's As Ever brand set to debut in its first store and landed a spot on Oprah's favourite things list. Well, well, well. Is the Duchess of Industrial Beige on the up? Is the shitty Potemkin brand, As Ever, finally gaining some traction? It would appear so, wouldn't it, as a consequence of landing a spot on Oprah's favourite things list, something which this one's wife advertised on her Instagram. Let's deal with that point first before we move on to the exciting news about her debuting in the first store. It's quite simple in relation to Oprah's favourite things list. You pay to be on it. As a consequence of the fact that Oprah has cultivated her own brand, she's in a position to say to people, if you want to be one of my favourite brands, you have to pay for it. And therefore that's what this one's wife has done. Oprah hasn't selected it and said, oh, I regularly utilise this one's wife's spread. Far from it. Indeed, she's kept her distance from the Duchess of Delusion for quite some time. Accordingly, it's not the win that this one's wife would like you to think that it is. First of all, association with Oprah is not what it used to be, far from it, as a consequence of concerns about her own reputation. And furthermore, it's simply paid advertising. Nothing more, nothing less. It isn't an endorsement. It isn't a selection. It isn't the suggestion that you've got a premier product. You've paid for Oprah to put you on the favourite things list. So there we are. We can park that. But what about the news that she's set to debut in its first store? Yes. As you know, hitherto, this one's wife had American Riviera Orchard, which went nowhere and didn't sell a single thing. Then along came As Ever. And As Ever had been online, but it would appear no more. There was talk previously about a bricks and mortar store, that in the autumn there was going to be a tie-in with her products appearing in Netflix stores, but that never happened. Presumably Netflix saw the ridicule that occurred in relation to the Part 1 and Part 2 of Series 1 of With Love Meghan and thought to themselves, nah, the last thing we're going to do is stock that crap in our stores, forget it. But this one's wife appears to have outmaneuvered them, that she has marched into a bricks and mortar store. Naturally, she takes to social media to share this news with us all in order to assert control over the audience and draw fuel by way of reaction in respect of this monumental news. Let's have a look at the footage. Well, are you blown away by that? 20 seconds of footage that demonstrates that once again this one's wife is absolutely useless at creating things, but she's reasonably competent at setting things out. After all, she's neither a cook or a baker, but she can certainly plate a mean takeaway. And here she demonstrates moderate competency in the setting up of boxes in neat rows, jars, cans, etc. Wow, what a talent, what a mercurial ability that she has. Weirdly described as about last night, did she break into the premises? This is the appearance of this one's wife in her first brick and Mortar appearance. Is it in a major department store? No. Is it in some trendy boutique in New York? No. The fact is, she has been putting out her stuff, presumably with consent, by putting it out in the Godmother's store in Summerland, California. As per People, As Ever will be making its first ever debut in a brick and mortar store for the 2025 holiday season. This One's Wife's newsletter shared that the brand's full holiday collection will be available for purchase at Godmother's in Summerland, a neighbourhood bookstore just a stone's throw from her and Prince Harry's home in Montecito. Godmother's is owned and operated by This One's Wife's friend, non-intimate secondary source, makeup mogul Victoria Jackson, and she and Harry even attended its opening last fall. See parts pass him. Should you find yourself in our neighbourhood, pop into Godmother's for a very merry as ever experience, the newsletter said, or rather wrote, calling the shop a gorgeous space for gathering that's close to our hearts. Well, there you are. That's the first bricks and mortar activity for This One's Wife, setting up some of her products in the local bookstore. It isn't a store of its own, it isn't a major retailer, it's the local bookstore. If anybody buys any of these items, how soon do you think that they'll end up in the local church fete or tombola? Do you have tombolas in the United States? I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments section. In case you don't, these are the mainstay of fundraisers at schools and churches and scout groups, etc. You buy a raffle ticket and invariably, if it has a 5 or a 0 in the end, you then become the proud winner of some lavender soap that has gone through 7 tombolas beforehand, because whoever wins it then donates it to the next fundraiser and nobody ever uses it, which is likely to be the fate of the items that are provided by This One's Wife. Her tat is being flogged in the local bookstore, but it's heralded as bricks and mortar. It's ridiculous. She hasn't been able to persuade any titan of industry that there should be a proper and meaningful collaboration whereby thousands of her products will be sold across the nation, which might just start to cause her to make some serious money. No. What she's done is she's paid for advertising with Oprah, and she's lent on a friend to say, could I possibly stick my products in your bookstore? Would that be okay? Once again, these products have not had favourable reviews. They're not particularly exciting products. And she also fails to recognise that most people are not going to spend $30 or whatever it is on spread, because she has no understanding of the issues that really matter to people. Like so many things that she does, she's just in essence playing at it. She thinks that she's a businesswoman. She isn't. She thinks that she's successful. She isn't. Her narcissism tells her that she is, but we know that she is not. Once again, she's basically gone along with some of her cheap tat, and I mean cheap in the sense that it's not particularly high-end quality-wise. Price-wise, it's not inexpensive. And hustled it into a bookstore, lent on a friend, and then proclaims, I now have my first store. You don't. You've hijacked a bit of space inside somebody else's store and then claimed that this is your bricks and mortar offering. And again, all you've gone and done, This One's Wife, is demonstrate what a failure you are. As mentioned, You've not had a tie-up with some major retailer. You haven't got significant space within a retailer that's got stores all across the United States. You haven't purchased or rented some space yourself in, for example, an actual property and then created your own store, the As Ever store. You've got a bit of space in the corner of a bookshop. It's no different to you setting up a stall at a farmer's market and trying to sell your tat. It's no different from you turning up in the church hall and renting a trestle table there at the Sunday fete and claiming that that's bricks and mortar. It's not. All it does is highlight, one, you're deluded, two, what a failure she is. Absolutely useless as always. And yet, with no sense of shame, she then ensures that a puff piece appears in People proclaiming, not only am I on Oprah's favourite things list, even though it's paid advertisement, but look at me with my first bricks and mortar store. Look at me, everybody. Praise me. See what a brilliant businesswoman I am. And instead, the reaction is, you're a failure. You failed again, and you've highlighted what a failure you are. You don't have a bricks and mortar store. You're flogging your tat in the corner of a bookstore. That is not going to make you a billionaire. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for watching.